India. I have a company called Miraki. I'm a wellness coach, a life coach, a positive psychologist. I've been certified by a lot of thought changers. I have sessions on various topics on being resilient, psychology of money, power of abundance, power of kindness and words, how words impact our life. So, the term spirituality and the word karma and all of these words are being tossed around and they kind of typephrase us into something. But what is spirituality? It simply refers to the qualities that inspire us to be better people. And what's good for me and good for you then becomes good for us. And where does this all start from? Right inside us, to live more consciously, to be more mindful. How can that not benefit everybody and everything around us? We are in a boat of life. And if me, you, her, she, him, them all are happy, we all are happy. Why spirituality in leadership? Because I think after the buzzword of emotional intelligence, we are now prepared to take something a deeper dive into of how to lead our teams to be more inclusive, how to bring them more as partners to everything we do. So those days of telling somebody is gone. The participation is what makes a success of a team and your workplace and your business. So as entrepreneurs, we are always looking at new ideas. I'm always looking at new ideas. I love listening to people. And I always say my team, my staff, my group are the tools that make the car run. The car is absolutely zero without everybody that's driving it or being part of it. So spirituality in entrepreneurship is like having fuel in your life, having fuel in the car. It's the heart of it. You need to lead with a more conscious pattern. You need to lead with a more inclusive way, a more friendly way.
Yeah, I'm Chaya Bharadwaj. I'm the founder of a digital agency headquartered in Mumbai called DLC Mumbai. We've been around for about 2 decades now, 22 years to be precise. And I used to be a business journalist before I ventured into entrepreneurship. For me, spirituality, has been a key word that I was always interested in from the time I was a young child because of the environment in my house. My grandmother was very religious and she was a seeker, and there were books in my house that I used to read. And then there was Amar Chitrakatha, and there was the story about Dhruv who became the North Star, etc. That were always inspiring. To me, spirituality is, all about ultimately getting enlightenment, like Gautam Buddha did. And religious practices are also meant to guide you to reach there. And a spiritual seeker eventually goes through all kinds of journeys in life, including, running a business or being employed in a company, whatever it is. All those experiences are leading us somewhere. And when you are a spiritual seeker, you start really, accessing higher powers that help you in your journey of life, help you to overcome all the challenges, all the things that happen in your life. So in short, that's about me and why I'm here today on this topic.
So my name is Asim Aliloski, and I'm the founder of Asim Aliloski International. And I help entrepreneurs and leaders around the world to turn their purpose into success. And I call myself a spiritual business and life coach. What I mean with spirituality is, so one thing around spirituality is to find out what is your purpose. So why you came here and how you want to serve others in an enlightened way. So you understand that you are the creator of your reality and you create in alignment with a divine plan and in alignment with a divine purpose. So this is basically the definition, or my definition, of spirituality. So in daily life, this has different expressions. So one expression is to that you live and work from your heart and from your soul, and you create success from your heart and from your soul. What does it look like? It's actually for everybody, I think, different, but you have to find your own expression of your success that is in alignment with your heart and in alignment with your soul. So this is basically for me the definition, or my definition, of spirituality, and how this will be or can be implemented into business and into entrepreneurship. for me, this is something that always belong together. And I think a true leader is an enlightened leader. A true leader is somebody who leads and inspires from his heart and from his whole soul. And that he has a vision that is greater than probably his own imagination, and that he knows that he's here to serve others in an enlightened way. So this is for me basically somebody who is a leader and who integrates spirituality into his leadership. So I would like to know your opinion, Chaya and Farhana. What do you think about that?
If I can, respond, Asim, what you definitely did say was, that the leadership role is much larger than the individual role. We are now responsible for an ecosystem of not just now your employees, but your employees' families, your vendors, and also clients whom you serve. We now start becoming responsible for a much larger universe, directly and indirectly. And, therefore, the situations that start happening in our lives also are of a much, you can say, larger dimension rather than an individual self-centric dimension. The situations impact the ecosystem every time. And in the spiritual journey, what happens in our spiritual journey is that we are able to seek the higher cosmic resources and not limit to our logical thinking and our mind thinking. Now, one of the key things that I learned is that that how the cosmos showers you. The cosmic will is actually your will. Whatever you want, the cosmos is ready to shower. But we bring all the patterns that we carry. Patterns right from our childhood. A chocolate is taken away, and that patterns goes through our life, that life is denying you of your most, precious needs. Because as a child, you were denied of the chocolate. And we carry those patterns into much larger situations later on. And then even before that opportunity or situation can be resolved, we have decided, hey, this is not going to happen. And this is where winners and leaders can make a difference, because we push those barriers and we say, hey, this challenge I'm going to break. Hey, this is not happening. And we are pushed to the wall because say you have to pay the salary at the end of the month, whether the business is happening or not. You start becoming more and more responsible. And when you start becoming more and more responsible, you're seeing, okay, human help is not there. And then, the spiritual journey really helps you, because you start realizing that the higher power is supporting you. I think that really helps, because it helps you to really get those tools and techniques. And also, like in my case, we get initiation. We get initiated into an enlightened being's powers to be able to access the cosmic power, which not everybody is able to realize, and it will be good. And so for me as an entrepreneur, I do my best to mirror what I have learned, or not to mirror, I speak about it. I enrich my team on these facts that do not get limited by this current situation. There is a higher ability. All you have to do is rewrite your story. You write your story the way you want. You make those statements as you want, and not as your doubts are dictating them or your challenges are dictating them. And then the cosmos just showers as you want it. I hope I've been able to sort of add to what you're saying, Asim. Farhana, your thoughts?
No, so I like a couple of things that you touched on, because those are my belief systems. Like I said, I'm a mindset coach here. And if you've read the book Secret, I'm a teacher trainer with Louise Hay, a life coach with Stephen Covey. My journey on meditation began when I was literally 12 years old. I didn't even know I was meditating. So I liked a couple of things that you pointed out, our beliefs. We have about 60,000 thoughts a day. How much of that is positive? And how much of that is just veering in a circle of negativity? How much of that is based on our past? Some may be inherited in our DNA. And think about how many things we inherit on birth. I've inherited my name, I've inherited my religion, I've inherited my belief systems. And those belief systems kind of self-prophesize to play out. Now, as a leader and as an entrepreneur, I'm responsible for X amount of people, or I'm responsible to be guiding people who come to me as a counselor. So, there is a lot of response roles that one plays here. And that all go back to how we think. If I think in an abundance mindset that it will all work out well, and there is a consciousness, a deep mindful consciousness, what is good for me is good for you, then it's good for us. And that's where the selfishness and being selfish goes away. We look at it as a totality. There's 7 billion people in the world today. And the one connectivity that we can all have is being more human. So being more human means what? Leading from the heart, leading from the soul. And then, of course, the mind. So I have a program that says leading with the heart and the mind. So your heart is always conscious to live here, to see the other person in totality. We are made up of spirit, made up of energy. That's why it's spiritual. And I love the word spiritual because it has so many different connotations. So as an entrepreneur, one can definitely motivate people, bring about a consciousness into your workplace. What is it that people want when they come to work? They're spending 8, 9, 10 hours. They want a sense of belonging. They want a sense of trust. To me, ownership of what they do. So all of that's spiritual leadership. Yeah, Asim, I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea about the belief system and everything. And it's very funny because when people talk about leadership, the first what comes in mind is how to lead others. So how to lead other people, my employees or whoever. But what we sometimes forget is that a good leader or a true leader is somebody who is able to lead himself and herself. So what does that mean? I mean, there are other peoples that need to be led. That's great, but in truth, you have to lead yourself, which means you have to pay attention to how you think, to how you feel, to what you think, to what you feel. And also, even you are responsible for your connection to your higher intelligence that is within you. You're responsible for your wisdom or tap into your wisdom. You're responsible for tapping into your intuition. You're responsible for making the right decisions or whatever decisions you want to make. So actually, leadership is even more about leading yourself, being conscious about what you think, what are your actions, what are your thoughts, what are your emotions, what is your belief systems, what is triggering you right now, what kind of emotions, what is your shadow? Is there a shadow within you that needs to be healed, for example? And the more you get focused on yourself, even as a leader, the more you become let's say, a more healed and whole version of yourself. And then if you're leading others, you will lead in a completely different way, in a more aligned, healed and whole way. And this is an energy that you will emanate from inside. And this is nothing that you can learn somewhere in any book or from anybody else. This is an inside experience an inside journey, an inside spiritual journey that you need to go through. And I think it never stops, actually. It's always an ongoing process, getting deeper into your divine essence and uncovering all your gifts that are within you and tapping into your intuition, into your greatness, into your higher intelligence, into your wisdom, into your whole and healed version of yourself. This never stops, actually. And the more you do that, the more you will lead others in a way that probably you will inspire others and you will become a natural authority with what you're doing and with your vision. That's what I think.
No, I completely agree. I love the fact that you told me that first you need to heal yourself and about the shadows. So I have seen many people who are in really interesting positions that don't trust. They don't trust. While if you can see your own journey to understand that we've all risen to our potential, the minute I say I can, I can. If I say I can't, then I can't. So similarly, in leadership quality, trust the people that you're giving the job. Give them something more higher to aspire to. Challenge them. Make them realize their own potential. A happier person is a contented person. A contented person is a more successful person. And in spiritual leadership, I think the one quality we need to look at is life successes. It's not like a grade system. You know, how much have I enhanced somebody's life? Is he going back home to his family more happier? Are we concerned about those aspects? So sometimes leaders completely miss that.
What we are going to do to ourselves, that is one. And Farhan spoke on the lines of collective thinking. It is not for yourself but about everyone. Now here I want to share what I have come to learn. We are only saying what we are projecting. We are actually operating in one. We've come from one source. That is a given. If I don't trust someone, for example, like you gave the example, it's because I don't trust myself. If I feel somebody is letting me down, it's because I let myself down. We only project our own self on the other. So even when I have these challenges with my team members, for example, if I'm feeling the team is letting him down, and then I've gone through exercises where I've realized how much I let myself down. And the minute I have corrected myself, I make the shift, I see the team around me starts making the shifts. Everything boils down to our own self, and we are mirroring everything. Every time I change my story, the story around me changes. Because I am projecting the story around me. I am projecting the film around me. And each one of us has our individual film. Yeah, that's what I wanted to add it. That operate from oneness and do things yourself, and it starts happening in the world around you.
This is super interesting because sometimes when I talk to my clients, they usually talk about when they are employed somewhere, they usually talk about their boss and their leader. And sometimes there are really bad leaders out there, I have to say. I mean, when I hear what they're talking about and what they say about their boss, I would say, oh my God, they're really bad leaders. And what I've realized, the worst leaders are those leaders who are self-unaware, who are not conscious enough, who are leaders who just project their anger, their unhealed stuff, their pressure, their imbalance energies or whatever they have inside, they just project into others and even put more pressures onto others. So I think a true leader is somebody who is getting more and more self-aware of what is going on inside him all the time, most of the time. And when you shift that, when you are able to shift and recalibrate what is happening within you, then you become a more conscious leader. And the more conscious you become, the more conscious your decisions will be, and the more conscious your leadership will be. And this is where spirituality comes in, I think, because for me, spirituality is something that makes us conscious and aware of who we are, of who we are not anymore, of what we want to release and who we want to become. So this is something I want to touch on because I get sometimes so many messages and so many, let's say, even feedbacks from others talking about leaders and their bosses, and even complaining about the bosses. Because there are so many leaders out there who think that leadership is only about leading others and still staying unaware about their own issues and what is triggering them and what is happening within them.
No, you're so right. Because the word leader and the word leading, it should be in an army. If it's only about leading, then it's like having my forces behind me and I'm the king sitting on the elephant while everybody I'm leading. But that's not leadership. Today, when you are leading somebody, you have to worry about their physical, mental, emotional state. You have to understand the life successes that they are getting. And leadership to me begins from the point when you wake up in your own house. We are still responsible for people around us. It's not only in the workplace. So how integrated are we there? Are we being kind to people we are at home? We have leadership qualities, whether it's with our kids or it's with our staff at home right here. And then it extends themselves. I have a small, very short story to share. So I trust. And I feel that when sometimes you challenge people, they do rise to the occasion. If I just keep them in the same job, one, it gets very monotonous. There is no growth happening, and there is no purpose of learning anything new. So I was traveling. I had a lot of renovation, and Chaya will say yes to this in India. Renovation is a big headache. I needed to do 3 bathrooms in my office, which is a huge challenge because there's like 20 vendors you have to go through to get a bathroom done. I had this young girl who's been with me only 6 months, but she's got a good eye for detail. And she's quite good when given a time-bound task. Okay? So actually, it's really funny. I'm discovering her own potential. So I threw her into this pool and I said, okay, these are the 10 things I'm selecting, and now go out there and find it to me at 50% less. One, she did. At some point, she found it 70% less. She did complete the job to her best ability. Few vendors may have let her down, but that was not really her fault. And the ability and the potential to rise to a challenge made me feel really good that, it's like opening doors to people. Why do we confine them to the roles as leaders? Why don't we see where we can move them into? That's developing talent. When you lead spiritually, you're also developing talent, the inherent talent that everybody has, the potential everybody has. Yeah.
How can one attain and find his purpose in life? If
Yes.
somebody is looking or asking, what is my purpose? How can he find it, or she? So probably you want to touch on a little bit on this.
I can share my own experience on this. Before I met my guru, what I was going through. So I had these experiences, where I saw that divine intervention is definitely happening in my life, and that is how I'm able to overcome some of the challenges which look insurmountable and push the wall, and then you suddenly find that your mental faculties, your physical all of them are just rising up beyond your expectation, and you're able to do certain things. And at that point in time, one of the first things is that seeking. Mentally, I started asking this question. So I am a religious person. One day I got a call asking me to, do digital marketing services for my guru's ashram. Okay, that's how the journey is. We never did digital marketing services for them eventually. But I met my guru and my journey started. So I think the first is you have a clear intent and you start pursuing that intent. The means just the cosmos opens up. It shows you the way. Actually, this is for anything in life. And definitely, if you are looking at, I need to know my higher self, I need to know my higher purpose, the cosmos shows you, opens doors, gives you signals. Maybe there will be a book, maybe somebody will call you, maybe you'll meet someone, or you'll see a video, and those answers start happening. For example, today, after having met my guru, and now I'm a very, very staunch disciple of his. If I have a question and I, just go and open YouTube, I'll see a video of his precisely answering that question of mine. And this happens to all the other devotees also. And we feel it's magic, but that's just because today we are more spiritually aligned. We are more able to connect with the cosmic will. And therefore, these answers just open up. I think including this meeting, where I have been wanting to share, learn from others, and this just happened. So this is one thing I would suggest, that, one should just, start that process mentally first, be integrated to it. And, rather than tell them, go to Google and, go to this one, go to that one. I think your intent is much more important.
This is so good. And I also recommend people to keep asking the question. So if you haven't found the answer, keep asking the question. Sometimes you need to live in the question so that the answer can show up one day. So this is one thing that I truly recommend, to start with this question, because sometimes it's easier, to stay where you are and to not change anything instead of asking bigger questions in life. And your purpose is one of the biggest questions you may ask, actually. That's, I think, why people are so scared sometimes to ask this question. But I want to encourage you to do that, because the more you do that, the more you will tap into your purpose. And it doesn't mean that you only have one purpose in life, actually. Probably there are purposes as well, or different layers or different stages of your purpose. So this is one thing that I truly recommend. And the other thing is, sometimes we are not ready to see our purpose because we are not there yet. So sometimes you need to grow first in order to be able to grasp your purpose or to get an idea of what it is. Because you should know, sometimes when you are too little in terms of your purpose, then it might be overwhelming you to know what it is. So that's why I sometimes encourage people to grow first, to let's say, to tap into their intuition, to know who you are, to rise with your consciousness. And the more you do that, the more you will become able to see what actually your purpose is. So this is the second thing, actually, I recommend. And the third thing is, in the meantime, if you don't know what your purpose is, choose something. Choose your purpose right now. You can say, okay, my purpose is to spread love, for example, and then see, okay, how you want to implement this into your daily life, or even as a leader or in your job. How would you like to spread love, to spread wisdom, to spread whatever you want to spread into this world and bring into this world? So you can choose in the meantime your purpose, what it should be, and you can start with little steps. So that's actually what I recommend to people looking for the answers around the purpose.
How to bring spiritual thinking within leadership style? Like, how can we really implement it? What are the ways to go about it? So to me, actually, workplace spirituality includes so many different things. It includes meaningful work, community, organizational value. And here I would really like to expand, because I see that happening constantly with me. I feel if our values are aligned, if the person that's working for me feels good, it's like a take-home factor of feeling good on our values, because value system is so important. Nobody likes to not feel good when they go home. For instance, value systems can extend to not paying vendors in time, to not be good to somebody who's done the work, to not acknowledge somebody who's from the outside, to not be good to a peon or T-boy. These are all value systems that we bring into our companies, into our lives. But first, we bring it into ourselves. If I've got my value systems right, then I can pass that on. So I think in a spiritual thinking of leadership, the value systems would be good. The connection with the work that you do for 8, 9, 10 hours. And when we think that workplace is only between those many hours, no. We take our work where we go to. Similarly, how we take our bodies and our mind. And the whole psychosomatic connection between mind and body. How we think is how we feel also, and how we feel is how we think. So both ways. Treating others well, to find time for yourself. I've seen in a lot of situations where there is no time that the poor person has. Getting to know your co-workers. So spirituality in a workplace is incorporating all of this. To be seen. There's a beautiful word that I will leave this behind with. It's called sobona. It's an African terminology. When I look at you and I see you, I bring you into being. When I see you, Chaya, when I see you, Asim, I'm bringing you into being, in totality, not for the work you do. So I think in spirituality in the workplace, lead with a sense of feeling, compassion, and mindfulness.
There was a question here on, what do a spiritual leader possess in terms of quality? And, I just wanted to share, what I have again come to learn from my guru, Swami Nityanand, is, it is all about how much you are able to enrich the other. And in that process, enrich oneself. And by enriching and, empowering, causing the other person's reality, you keep causing and enriching your own reality every time. Is something that, I really discovered again with empirical evidence that, every time I did something like that, I saw that, it is coming back to me, because ultimately we are one. Ultimately, we have to operate from the space of one. There is that do unto others what others will do unto you, applies from a very higher level, that, it has to be, you have to treat that person as you are. And then, everything else starts falling. So I think that is very, very critical for a spiritual leader, when their entire purpose is to enrich the ecosystem around them and to take it to the higher level. And by that doesn't mean giving a shoulder to cry on. It is about kicking the butt when needed and getting that person to stop moping and go for what they really should be. Go for the higher purpose. Not just dwell and be stuck in a rut, but get people out of their rut. This really to me is, and tell them how is it that you're making it work for you and why you're really doing it. Be as authentic and true about it, because many a times we shy away from telling the truth, the whole truth. We give it in bits and pieces. But when we share the whole truth, the other person can really see it and start mirroring what you're able to do. That was about me. Both of you can add to it, on what you see spiritual leadership.
That's being authentic. When it's authentic leadership, it goes into being authentic as a person. First, it starts with me. It starts with you. We are a complete universe ourselves, right? And we are reflecting it out there. And people can see if you're not authentic. People can see it. Yeah. People can see if you're not honest. Even in a compliment, you can see it if that person is being honest or not.
Being authentic is everything, mostly, I guess. So, and I think there are also layers to that. Sometimes, we are becoming beings, let's say, and the more we are on this path of our spiritual development and our spiritual growth, the more we will tap into our true essence, our true nature of who we are. And the more we do this, the more we will become even more authentic than before, actually. So, but I think being authentic and realizing who you are and what your values are and what you want to bring into this world and mean what you say and say what you mean, I think this makes a good leader in the end.
True. I think that's the ultimate freedom. So I have a beautiful session. It's on psychology of money. And I say the maximum freedom that money gives you is freedom, right? So to be authentic is to be free, to be your true self.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And it takes sometimes courage.
It takes some time, but it's okay. There may be some bullies around that don't like to see your authentic self, but that's fine. Stay true to it. You will get there.
Yes. I totally agree. Thanks for reminding us again, Farhana.
It's a journey, my dear. We're all trying to get there, and we're all getting there, baby steps at a time, but it's good. It's all good. Yes. So far, we know that we have gone through a long road. There may be a long road ahead, but it's progress. Otherwise, we would be Buddhas here, right?
Before we conclude, I just wanted to add one thing to what Asim said, and for the purpose that it may make a difference to somebody who listens to our session.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, DLC. Thank you, everybody out here. I love the panelists out here. There was so much insightfulness here. Please reach out to me. I'm on www.meraki.in. And I'm Farhana Vora, part of the DLC team, which is wonderful, wonderful space to be in. And you can get in touch with me in any of these forums. Thank you very much.
So Thank you very much for this wonderful discussion, and thank you, DLC, for making this possible. And if you go to my website, asimaliloski.com, you will find different programs that we offer to our wonderful and great leaders and entrepreneurs who want to work with us. And there is one program that I would like to mention here. It's about intuition-based leadership and entrepreneurship. So it helps people actually to tap into their intuition and lead from their soul and from their heart. And if you're interested in that, just go to my website and check this out, and we would love to hear from you. Thanks very much.
Yeah, hi. So you should visit bcwebwise.com and you can check out our end-to-end digital marketing services, right from developing your digital strategy to setting up your website to your go-to marketing strategy, social media, search, online reputation online reputation management, driving business. We work primarily with mid-size organizations and large organizations, unless it's an independent service like a search marketing, we work with smaller organizations too. And connected to what this entire panel discussion was about, I would strongly recommend to watch my Guru Swami Nityananda's videos, and also you can visit kailasa.org to discover more about a Hindu nation that's being set up, the only Hindu nation in the world today that is being set up, because there are no Hindu nations left. There has been a Hindu Holocaust that's happened, even worse than the Jewish Holocaust. I would really urge you all to open your eyes and visit and know more. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you, Asim and Farhana. It was wonderful interacting with you all. Thank you so much to DLC
Thanks
for
very
this
much.
beautiful opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.